Hi, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be going through some subtraction methods and I'll show you the best way to go about it, and hopefully it helps you out. So the first method is one that you would have probably learnt in primary school, and it's just the normal way, long subtraction you could call it, and but yeah, it's important to know it. So here we go. Say for example you have 34 minus 7. What you want to do, just as you would with addition, is you line them up correctly, going from this side to left to right, sorry, from right to left, and you want to keep in check your ones, your tens, your hundreds, your thousands, and so on. So it's in columns. Okay, so 7 minus 4, so whatever number you have, it lines up underneath is what you subtract from each other. So my first focus is this first column, 7 minus 4. If this number at the top is smaller, it means you can't actually you can't deduct. So what you do is you go to the neighboring number, the number left of the 4, and you take 1 away from it. So you take 1 from there, and if you take 1 from the 3, it turns into a 2. You're left with 2, correct? And you put the 1 right next to the 4 here, and this number here becomes 14 instead of 4. So now 7 minus 14 is simply 7, and 2, you have nothing underneath. 2, you just bring it down and you get 27 as your final answer. Number 2, let's look at another example. Let's go a bit of a bigger number. Say if you had 178 minus 96. Again, you want to line up your numbers correctly. See how they line up properly. Underneath the 1, you can think of it as nothing or 0, if that will help you keep track of it. Draw your line, and then 6 and 8. 6 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 7, again, just as in this example, you can't, because the 7 is smaller than the 9, you have to borrow 1 from the neighbor, and there's only 1 here. So what I'd do is just to keep track of things, I would annotate and I would cancel out the 1 and put it next to the 7 to make it into 17. Now I can deduct 9 from 17. 9 from 17 is 8. You write it down, and that's my final answer. And let's go through one last example, a bit of a bigger number. So again, the same rules apply. Say if I had a number like 2,561 minus 599. Okay, see how my numbers are lined up. Okay, 9 minus 1, again, same story. The 1 is smaller than the 9. You go to the neighbor. You take 1 from the 6, which turns into 5, which becomes 5, sorry. And you add the 1 next to the this number here, which turns it into 11. Now you can deduct 9 from 11, correct? 9 from 11 is 2. 9 from 5, again, 5 is smaller than the 9. Go to the neighbor, take 1 from the 5, makes it into 4. Put the 1 next to the 5, makes it into 15. And 9 from 15 is 6. And 5 from 4, again, smaller than the 5, so you take 1 from the 2. This becomes 1. This becomes 14. 5 from 14 is 9. And 1, nothing to take away from the 1. You simply just bring it down, and you have your final answer, 1962. So this is the normal way. This is a method that you'd need a pen and a paper, but it's a good method to know, something that you would probably need to understand if you're in primary school or high school, and something that is really easy and simple. If you ever get stuck or you don't have a calculator, I think it's good to know how to do this method. Okay, so this is the first method, but the method that I really want to focus on is this next method that I'm going to go through. And this is a method where you don't need a calculator and it all happens in your head. But there is a little bit of a trick, or I guess the difficulty with this method is breaking a 10. Okay, so for example, if we had, by this what I mean, if we had 97 minus 5, 97 minus 5, this is not breaking a 10, because 97 minus 5 is still 92. There's still a 90 and then a 2 as well, so you haven't broken the 10. So that's quite straightforward. But as your numbers get bigger, for example, if we deduct say 8 from 97, this becomes 8 from 97 becomes 89. And what goes on in our mind is actually 97 minus 7 minus 1, because 7 plus 1 is 8. It's the same as if we were to write 97 minus 8. This is just sort of breaking the number down in your mind to make it easier for you. 97 minus 7 becomes 90, and then 90 minus 1 becomes 89, right? Okay, so we get the same answer. The only issue with this is when we do break a 10, you just have to keep in check that there's more than one step, and so keeping track of this number may prove a little bit difficult. But again, it's a great way, once you sort of get comfortable with this method, to not have to require a calculator, especially with exams that you don't or exams that you're not allowed calculators, or you don't have a calculator handy, neither a pen or a paper. Let's take this to the next level and just use a bit more of a complex example. Say if we had 876 minus 199. In this case, what you need to do is, like I did in my addition sort of video, the same method applies, is you try and sort of get it to the nearest 100. If you haven't seen my addition video, I highly recommend you sort of go check that out, because it has a lot of examples with this method. So the same method applies here. You're trying to get to the nearest 100. So 876 and 1 minus 199. 876 is pretty close to 900. And you ask yourself, what do I need to add to this 876 in order to get to 900? And what you need to do is add 24 to this, correct? So 24 plus 876 gives me my 900, and then because I've added 24 to this side of the equation, I need to take away or deduct 24 from this side. So like I said here, we've gotten to our 100 or 900, and it's an easier number to work with compared to 876. Then 199 minus 199 minus 24, because you're taking away 199 already from this number, from this 900, you're then taking a further 24 away. So it's basically adding 24 to the 199, if that makes sense. So you're taking an even bigger number away. So what you want to think of this is 199 is pretty close to 200. Take one from the 24, makes it 200, and then you've got 23 left over, so becomes 223. Okay, so hopefully you're following along so far. Now the next step from here on, there's two ways you can look at it. The first method is breaking it down into hundreds. So you've got 900, and the 200 is made up of a 200 minus 23. So the 900 minus the 200 is pretty simple to do, and this is what I would do. So 900 minus 200 becomes 700, minus a further 23. Again, you can think of it as 700 minus 20 minus 3. So 700 minus 20 minus 3. 700 minus 20 is pretty straightforward. You know that it's 680. Minus 3 makes it 677 as our final answer. Okay, so you see how I've gone through these multiple steps, and I know there's a fair few steps, but it's sort of breaking it down. This is how you sort of want to approach these numbers in your mind, and with practice you can get really good at this and really quick. Then the other method that you can sort of go from once you get to this step, let me just rub this out really quick. The other method is where you ask yourself, what do I need to add to the 223 in order to get to 900? So basically, like in the addition method what I showed you with the change or the money, so you start off with 223, correct? We're trying to see, what do I need in order to get to 900? If we added a 2, what we get is 225. Okay, it's an easy number to work with, 5s, 10s, 100s, etc. So now if I add another 5, what I get is 230. If I add another 20, I get to 250. If I add another 50, I get to 300. And once we get to our 300, this number is, from here we know what we need to add in order to get to the 900. We just need to add 600. So that makes our 900, and that's it, you're done. And then the last step, what you got to do, let me just change the color of my pen, is you got to add up the numbers that that you added to the 223. So you added 2, and then you added a 5 to get to 230, then added a 20, you then added a 50 as well, and last but not least, you also added a 600 in order to get your 900, correct? So then what you do is you simply add those numbers together. So you have 2 plus 5 plus 20 plus 50 plus 600, and 600 plus 50 is 650, plus 20 is 670, plus another 5 is 675, plus another 2 equals 677. And this is the same answer as we got before. So you sort of have to sort of play it by each question, keep an eye out on the various numbers and sort of see what's easier, see what you find works well in that situation. And the last thing, just make sure you practice this, and I guarantee that for exams where you're not allowed a calculator or you don't have one handy, if you're able to do this in your mind, you'll be able to sort of do any sort of questions a lot faster than having to rely on a calculator or a pen and paper. You can also do this in a pen and paper if you've got it, but being able to sort of see and understand how you can break numbers down and still get the same answer, and can help you out tremendously. And hopefully it did. If it did, make sure to let me know by subscribing, hitting that like button, leave me a comment or a question if you have one, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.